everyone. Welcome back to Prime Sports. Been a little while, but we're back. Episode 12 today. Nico's on the other side.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing? Good to be back. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been a little inconsistent, but that's because of our school duties and all that. But we're looking to get back now. Uh, Nico, what do we have for the audience today?
So today we're gonna be talking about a few things. But mainly the main point today is gonna be the betting scandal that's going on in Italy, the sports betting. Not sure if many of you have heard, but it's been going around and we got a lot of opinions on that. We're gonna inform you about the whole situation and everything that's going on. So that's gonna be the main topic today. Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to a couple people like on my own, and that actually a lot of them didn't know about this. So this would be good to like inform people what's going on, because I
Mhm.
think this is bigger news than it should be. Like the news should be bigger than it is, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll inform everyone on that. After that, we got a couple like different news that's going on in the world of footy. We'll talk about obviously Champions League is back this week. We'll talk about that. And we'll talk about, performances from the weekend and teams that are not where they should be in the league. But other than that, Nico, let's dive into the gambling.
Yeah, so like I said, not many people have actually heard about it, no? I feel
No,
like a lot of
like
people are kind of clueless over everything.
yeah, and I think that might be because I guess I mean Italy are a big soccer country, like big football country, but maybe it's because it's directed in. I mean, I can't even say that. I was gonna say it's directed more in a SerieA route, but like Zaniolo and Tonali are both in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just they're not like the biggest names in the world.
Yeah.
There are some notable names, but I guess they're not the biggest names in the world. And maybe they've kept it quiet pretty good, but you're all over that.
Yeah, so I've been kind of like um, you know, keeping you informed over the last few weeks about it. And because obviously I'm a bit closer to all the SerieA news. So basically how the story goes is there's this journalist, famous journalist in Italy called Fabrizio Corona. And pretty much he used to be a paparazzi. Um, he worked for I think his own company. I don't have like the in-depth like details on who this guy like really is and what he used to be all about. But overall, like I know kind of what he's about.
He's like
They
very
called
controversial, right?
Yeah, they called him like the king of Italian paparazzi. Like he was in the early 2000s, he was involved in a lot of scandals, especially with soccer. Um, I don't want to like make assumptions because I don't know exactly like the details around the whole scandal that happened, but I know that it had to do with like soccer players and like framing people and stuff like that.
Oh, he like blackmails players, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard of that, but yeah, he was like blackmailing players, asking for money, stuff like that.
For like photos that he has and stuff like that.
Yeah. And he actually went to jail over that. So he was in jail for quite a few years and he was actually on the run from the police. Crazy stuff. It was like really televised and like everyone knew about it. So that happened around like 2000 early 2000s. And now that he's out of jail, starting more controversy, but this time he claims to be on the right side of things and he claims that like he's getting this needed truth out that everyone needs to know because he says that no one knows what's really going on
The scene.
in the behind the scenes of like the Italian Serie A, and that's the easiest way to put it. So pretty much, yeah. So King of Italian Paparazzi comes out. He says there's this scandal. He has a list of names that he got from his sources, and no one knows who these sources are. But he says like they're people who are kind of like behind the scenes of like the betting websites that were being used, and other people as well. Obviously, he's not going to release the names. Um,
Unless he gets money for it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. A lot of people are like with him on this because they want to like expose the players that are doing
Mhm.
illegal things. but a lot of people are against him as well because they're saying, well, why don't you just release all the names and like stop, you know,
Stop beating them around the bush.
no, and also like televising yourself so much. Like it's obvious he's doing
Mm.
it for money as well. Because he's going on live TV every week on a big sports television show in Italy. And he does these like weekly meetings where he goes on and he gives more information one at a time.
So what does he say? Like if he's not releasing these names, he just keeps saying like, "Oh, I have names." Each stream.
Yeah, it's like a whole meme in Italy now because like he goes there and he's like, "All right, this week I have this for you. This week I have this for you." Okay. So like next week tune in and I'll release these names. He comes next week and he just like hides everything and he's like, "Oh, I can't release the names yet." So like people are saying like, "Yeah, he's probably right." But he's like milking it so much because he's probably asking for so much money from these TV shows to be on there.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to like milk it until he gets what he's satisfied with.
Because of his history, is he like? Would you say he's known? Like, is he trustworthy? Like, could you say that?
See,
Or is he like a wild card? Like you don't know with him. Like
a lot of people are saying that exact same question. Like that's the big question,
he
honestly.
could he could just have no names, right?
How could you? Yeah, but then at the same time, it's like the people really started taking him seriously when Fajoli admitted to it. Fajoli is one of the first names that came out. Nicola Fajoli. I don't know if you guys know of him. He's a youth prospect on Juve, more than a youth prospect because he was breaking into the first
Yeah.
team. Um, and yeah, it's unfortunate what happened to him, but it's his own fault. So
Yeah, let's go back. Let's go to the names that we let's go to the big three names that we know that came out.
all right, so the big names are Nicolo Zaniolo, Fagioli, and Sandro Tonali. So pretty much those were like the three names that he started with, that Fabrizio started with, and he announced them right away. And Italy were on international break.
Yeah.
They were in training, and then all of a sudden the news came out, and
Then they
Italy
get
actually
pulled out, right?
they
Like they
pulled
got
them out
questioned
of
by
training,
police.
and they everybody was confused. They're like, "What's going on?" They pulled them out of training, and people started asking questions. And then a day after, I'm pretty sure, like 2 days after, everything started coming out. Like, oh, they're involved in this betting scandal, and Fagioli is admitting to it, and he's cooperating with the authorities, and that helped him get his sentence reduced. If I'm not mistaken, he got
7 months.
months.
Yeah.
So he
And
got 7 months and then a few months of rehab.
from what I read, it could have been like much worse, but like you said, because he cooperated, they like reduced it by a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So it says he was suspended for 7 months and will miss the rest of 2023-24 season. And he's probably going to need to do a few months of therapy as well,
Mhm.
like rehab. Um, and because he cooperated, he got his sentence reduced, which would have been, I think the minimum was 2 years.
So that's a
So
lot.
he I guess came out lucky
Yeah.
from this.
So that's
But
just one player, right? That's the
yeah,
only one that's been named, like that's been given a punishment, right?
he's been given a punishment because he pretty much admitted to everything like right away. With Tonali, it's a bit different because with Tonali, at first he said he never did it and he just did like blackjack or like casino games. Then he admitted to it, and then everybody started showing support because he said that he suffers from this betting addiction,
Gambling addiction, yeah.
like a gambling addiction that's like been going on for a few years. And so everybody was showing support, and then he started admitting to more stuff because then he said he never bet on Milan games. And then after a few days, he started releasing that he did bet on Milan games and he bet on Brescia games and even a few of his early Newcastle games. So so then that came out. So it's like day by day things keep coming out and he's cooperating more because he wants to get that sentence reduced.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, now I think the newest news is that he's still cooperating. He
Yeah.
admitted to betting on Milan and Newcastle, and I think the verdict is coming in the next day. I think I heard they're gonna get the verdict before Newcastle's game against Dortmund tomorrow.
Okay. So
So,
that might happen before this comes out, maybe. Okay.
and I mean, a lot of people are saying he's looking at almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years of suspension. It could be bad
Wow.
because he did a lot more than Fajoli. Also, Fajoli was pointing the finger to Tonali because he said that he's the one who brought him into the whole illegal betting
Yeah.
scheme, and he's the one who showed him the website and everything. So,
And what's
and
the
by the
site?
way,
It's like illegal, right?
it's an illegal website. So just to add more to it, yeah, it's not looking good for Tonali. I think he won't get more than 2 years, but there's definitely a chance that he would get 2 years. Yeah.
I was gonna say for those who don't really know what like an illegal betting site is, it's basically because it's not run by the like Italian government doesn't have like control over it, right? So they can't be like restricted or they can't be like tracked kind of because the authorities know that you can't if you're like a for example a soccer player, you can't bet on soccer games, which is like the rule. I didn't know that. I thought it was just your own like if it was related to you, but you can't do it at all.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
why they use the illegal site.
Yeah. So pretty much, where were we? Um,
Just finishing up Tonali talk.
yeah. So Tonali is about to get his verdict in the next day or so.
Hmm.
And yeah, like I said, I don't think he'll get more than 2 years because he is cooperating and he's admitting to a lot of stuff. And he
But he'll
says
probably get more than Fajoli.
I think he will get more than Fajoli because I think I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think Fajoli, sorry, I don't think Fajoli bet on games
Clayton.
that he played in. So I think he'll that's why he got that
Okay.
reduced sentence as well.
Hmm.
But I think Tonali did say he did bet on games that he played in, and he said although he bet on them, they weren't things that could like change the outcome of the game. Like it's not like he
Like
bet on,
Milan to win or Newcastle to win, stuff like that.
yeah, like, and it wasn't like, oh, I don't know, like me scoring an own goal or something like
Hmm.
that. Like or like me getting a red card or
What
a
about
yellow.
yellow cards? No,
I don't know. I don't think
because
that's
I
what
was gonna say like we watched a couple games and it looked like he was like there was like a couple fouls where he like didn't have to do it, but he did it.
you know that that yellow card that he got for time wasting on Newcastle. I don't know if you were aware of it. He was like talking like he was getting subbed off and he was like wasting so much time and it was like the 90th minute. He was
Was it against Aston Villa?
maybe I don't want to like
Because I was looking at his game log just to see like how his season's going, whatever. I also wanted to well, I'll get to it later about the game that they just played. But I was just looking to see his stats and stuff from this season, and he had a yellow card, 90 plus something minute. It was a game
that's the one.
they were winning 5-1.
That's the one, yeah. So
So that was completely unnecessary.
he was getting subbed off and then I'm not exactly sure what happened because I never watched it. I just like heard about it. But I heard he was wasting time. He was like taking his time coming off the field. I'm pretty sure he was like talking to like players and stuff too. Like he was obviously like trying to waste time.
Okay.
And and yeah, so he got that yellow. And now a lot of people are saying that that might have been part of one of the bets that he made on Newcastle.
Because
Um,
yeah, like that's like that's not something that's normal. You know, you said he was talking to other players like on his way to the touchline.
I'm not exactly sure, but
Okay, okay.
all I for sure heard was that he was wasting time while coming off in like the 90th minute while his team were winning by like so much.
Yeah. So like whatever it was that he did, even if it was like a regular foul, it was still unnecessary because you're winning 5-1. It's stoppage time. But you
Yeah.
said it was wasting time, so that's even more like clear as day that it's a super unnecessary booking.
Yeah.
So
And
maybe
so
you never
yeah,
know.
we got Fajoli and Tonali out of the way. For Zaniolo, however,
I heard
um
it's a bit different his situation.
yeah, it's a bit different. He'll probably still get some type of sentencing, but I don't think it'll really be much. Maybe like half a year, not even probably.
And that's because it's not soccer, right?
I don't think it's soccer. Um, and I think it was just like casino games.
That's what I heard too. He kept denying that.
Like I don't even think he'll get a ban. I think he'll just get a fine.
Okay. Because yeah, I heard that he was denying anything about betting on like his own games or any other games. It was just like poker,
Yeah.
casino games, stuff like that. Yeah, so
Which
maybe
honestly makes me think like why can't players play
I
that?
guess
You know?
maybe the only punishment would be the illegal site that he's using. Yeah,
Probably.
that's probably a
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That's not like
I don't think he'll get banned for playing poker. Like how does that relate to soccer,
yeah.
you know?
He's of age. He's
Yeah.
not doing anything illegal apart from using an illegal site, which, how many people in the world do that? Probably a lot.
Yeah.
Especially in Europe, it's a little bit more shady and it's been around longer betting. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't think it'll be like crazy, but yeah, probably a little slap on the wrist, a
And
little
then
something.
there's also El Shaarawy
Yeah, so
who
this I didn't know.
Fabrizio
So update us on that.
so Fabrizio Corona recently released a few more names, one of them being El Shaarawy from Roma. I'm pretty sure everybody knows El Shaarawy. Used to be huge on Milan when he was getting into soccer.
Hmm.
Um, so pretty much Corona was saying that he was betting, and El Shaarawy denied everything. And there was a lot of like shade going his way all week because this just got released at the start of the week, the start of last week, sorry. And there was a lot of shade coming his way. Um, People from Roma were attacking him in the comment section of his posts. Um,
Damn.
I guess it had an effect on him personally too, because maybe his family was like, "Hey, like, what do you
Yeah.
do?" Like, everybody probably started to doubt him. And then on the weekend, he actually scored the winner for Roma. And I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
was
if a
gonna
lot of
add
people
that.
saw.
Like, if he had a bet on that, he'd probably cashed out real good. He had a
No,
last minute winner under his belt.
but my yeah, no, but jokes aside, like my point is he scored against Monza
Mhm.
for Roma in the last minute, and then he was in tears. He just started crying. I don't know if anybody saw that,
Mm.
but after the game, they were posting videos and pictures. Like right after he scored, he was celebrating, and he just went to tears because I guess it was just a very emotional week for him. So
Yeah,
it was like a good way to like let it all out and like kind of silence the haters.
yeah,
And
absolutely. So
I don't
that
know.
one is like we don't know anything yet. It's just a name out there.
Yeah, and a lot of people were actually attacking Fabrizio Corona. Um, People who were like defending Al Sharawi and saying that like, you can't attack a guy like that, like make assumptions that like maybe weren't true. And like you can actually ruin someone's life. And
Yeah,
now Corona is facing a few lawsuits, I heard,
good.
for defamation. Um,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Al Sharawi, his legal team wants to take him to court because I mean, they clearly have evidence to show that El Sharawi never did anything wrong. And I don't know, who knows? Maybe this source that's telling Fabrizio Corona all this news, maybe he came up with it. Maybe it wasn't necessarily Corona, but like he's the one who's releasing the news. So if
yeah.
he says something wrong that's not true, then he's gonna be held liable for
And
that.
it's a big deal too. It's not like mistaking an injury. It's like
Yeah,
this guy's life on the line here.
like someone's whole career can end because of this.
Yeah.
So like
And
there's a
he's
lot
already
of
had like a tough career. Like
yeah.
it's been hard for him. So yeah.
So yeah, so a lot of people are backing Al Sharawi and are supporting him. And yeah, I heard talks of Corona going to court, so that should be interesting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Also, you talked about El Shari crying. that brings me back to when Fajoli was crying,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
everyone thought it was because he got subbed off, had a bad game, whatever. But what came out about that?
I'm not sure what I
Like he
didn't
was.
see that.
Oh, I thought you knew this. He was crying on the bench, right? You know that.
For
Do you?
which game?
It was I forgot which game it was, but he got subbed off, and he said that, oh, there was a technical error that I made, and everyone assumed that like he was crying because he got subbed off, like
Really?
didn't have a good performance, and but I don't want to say it came out as, but oh no, it did come out as. I think it was him or someone else that said, it was because of like the pressure of like dealing with blackmailing and all this, and because
Mm-hmm.
he's in debt, betting debt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like it gets the best out of these players, like whether the information is true or not. Like Fajoli, it was obviously true, still affects his life. So it's like pretty big deal what these guys are dealing with.
Yeah, I heard there's some type of like group slash gang after him. A gang that he was, I think, taking money from
You
to
told
do
me a little bit about this.
all this betting, and he's in a lot of debt to them, and they would tell him like, hey, like keep betting, keep making the money back because we want our money back, and if you don't do it, we're coming for you. Like they literally, Fajoli says they came to him and told him, if you don't get us our money, if you don't keep placing bets, we're gonna come to you and we're gonna break your legs. Your career is gonna be over. And like imagine you're how old is he?
He's like what,
20,
22.
like a 22-year-old getting that said to him,
Yeah, that's
like I know
crazy
he made
stuff.
the mistake himself and like he only has himself to blame,
Yeah,
but at the same time, like he's a young
everyone.
kid, like
Yeah,
everyone makes mistakes. Like you can't, hate him so much and like say that it's all his fault. Like
yeah,
it is, but at the same time, like it's just very unfortunate that this had to happen.
yeah,
And he was very promising. So I hope that the rehab helps him as well as Tonali and they can come back stronger, honestly.
yeah. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say. I think I was gonna say something. Oh, yes. So, like you said, he was in debt with that like group. What is it? Gang group kind of thing.
Mhm.
He also like I heard that he had to take loans from players on his team.
Yeah, I heard Gatti,
Yeah, that's who it was.
Federico Gatti, defender on Juve. He asked 40,000 euros.
Yeah.
There's actually a quote from Fajoli. He said, I asked for 40,000 euros, but telling him that I needed money to buy a watch and that my accounts were blocked by my mother. So he was like covering it up. He didn't tell Gatti like why he needed the money. He just told him that like his account was blocked or something.
Can I just say that's a terrible lie?
Yeah.
I have to go buy a watch. Can I have $40,000? Sure, here you go. I'll
And
pay it back.
I know for like soccer players that's nothing,
Yeah. Still,
but
like
still, yeah, it's kind of
that's
crazy.
nothing to just hand someone for a watch. Here, go buy yourself a new watch. You know?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Um,
Um,
Also, I wanted to talk about
yeah.
so for Tonali, just going back to him for one last time. I heard some people saying, "Oh, like Newcastle wants to like put out sorry, Newcastle wants to like sue Milan
I was just gonna ask you about that. Yeah.
because Newcastle think that Milan knew about this." Um, but I saw a lot of like lawyers commenting about it, saying that like even if they did, it would be so hard to prove that they did because how are you gonna like
You can't like go into someone's thoughts.
yeah, how are you gonna like obviously they don't have paperwork and like
Yeah.
documents showing this. So how are you gonna prove that like the directors and the team knew? Like why would they ever admit to it, first of all, if they
Hmm.
don't have any threats coming their way of like think like, oh, say this or else we're gonna like do this to you. Like you can't because there's nothing to go off of.
Hmm.
So like what are they gonna do? Like they can't just like I don't see anyone from Milan being like, oh yeah, we knew. Why would you do that?
Yeah. Also, how did how did the authorities find out about this?
What do you
Oh,
mean?
like, how did the authorities know that Fajoli, Zaniolo, Tonali are all involved in this betting site, which that don't release their names? Like, is there a snitch somewhere?
Well, yeah,
Oh, is that actually what it is?
Fabrizio Corona,
But like, how did he know that?
because he has his insiders, like his
Uh,
the. But a lot of people are saying that it might be people who work for these companies
okay.
that know who's registered to what, and they also like you got to think like even like people that work with like the banks and stuff like that, they probably have access to all this information,
Oh
accountants,
yeah, that's true. Like,
people
where's
like
the money
that.
coming from and where it's going? Yeah, you're right.
So they know like if they see that you're like so much in debt and you're still taking out so much money,
Hmm.
they know that something's up, and then
That's
questions
true.
start getting asked, and then Fabrizio Corona, apparently he has very good links to a lot of people. So that's how he found out.
Fair enough.
Um, so yeah, going back to the Tonali thing, there's people saying like, oh, Newcastle should sue, but lawyers are saying that's very unlikely. Um, and the reason why Newcastle want to sue is, yeah, like I said, they think that Milan knew about it, and Tonali costed them like 70 million euros.
That's a
Uh,
good chunk right there.
so I mean, it's not a little bit of money to lose, even for Newcastle,
Yeah.
even with all the money that they have. And the thing is, they don't like when teams buy players. I don't know if you know, but like they don't pay all at once. They pay, usually if
In
it's
installments.
well, if it's over like 50 mil, they usually pay in installments, especially if it's like a team that's like spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
They don't want to put like all the money all at once because then the financial fair play will get into things and they'll start investigating. So they split it up into like years, you know?
Hmm.
So they never said how much they paid for Tonali, but it's definitely not more than 20 or 30 million so far. If you think about it,
Hmm.
I was hearing some people say like three or four installments of 75 of the 75 million or 72.
70 plus five add-ons.
Okay. So I don't see them already paying more than like 20, 25 million, maybe 30, I don't know. But the thing is like Newcastle don't want to pay the rest of that money now. They're saying, "Oh, we're not going to pay you because you knew about this. You screwed us." And that opens up a whole other possible legal battle that could happen between Milan and Newcastle. It's just a mess, honestly. Like there's so many things that go into it. Um so yeah, like what do you think? Like what do you think about the situation between these two teams?
I think it's interesting because you just said like they want like what their money back kind of for Tonali.
Yeah, they don't want to pay the rest.
Yeah.
And I even heard, yeah, they want like money back, which
Well,
is crazy.
you can't get the player for free because he did illegal betting. I guess
Yeah,
like you said, okay, like maybe Milan knew. They obviously would never admit that. But like you also bought this player, so now he's yours.
yeah,
It's like when you give something to someone and let's say I got you a PS5, okay?
yeah,
And you use it all the time, and I come over and I want it back because I got it for you. It's not how it works, right?
yeah,
It's yours now.
yeah, I know. Because like
Or if it stopped working, you want your money. You want me to like. Oh no, that wouldn't make sense because you got it for free anyway. Anyways, you get what I'm
the
trying to
point
say.
the point is it doesn't make sense because you
Yeah,
bought it and
yeah.
there's no way for you to prove that Milan knew about it. Quite frankly, like unbiasedly, don't look at that. Um, I I don't think Milan knew about it. Some people are saying that like, oh, why
I'd
would
say
they
a couple
sell?
players maybe knew. Maybe players. I don't know about. I mean, I think staff and
I don't know.
director of the club is a little weird because how would they know about that unless Tonali said, "Hey, I'm doing this."
But why would you tell them?
Yeah, exactly. So that doesn't make sense. The only thing I said like he could have done like Fajoli said, he's the one that told him about the betting site. He probably told a couple players in Milan about it.
True.
But other than that extent, it probably didn't get to like, hey Pioli, look what I'm doing. You want in on this? Like, I don't think he's doing that. That'll just get you right in trouble.
Yeah, yeah. And people are saying, well, that's why Milan sold him, but I don't think so because the whole thing when he got sold is Newcastle went to Tonali first.
Yeah, yeah. Like they're not like,
Newcastle,
hey, who wants
Fabrizio
this?
Fabrizio Romano, and he released the news that Newcastle were on him. They said they had a meeting with Tonali to talk about it. Then Tonali went to Milan and told them, "Hey, they offered me this contract. I want to go there. So agree between you guys, and I'm gonna go."
Yeah, and
So
also
like
it makes
even
sense
New
because Newcastle offered a lot of money too for him. Like it just kind of makes sense for it to be accepted in that way rather than like anything behind the scenes instigating that.
yeah. I don't know. It's a mess. Hopefully it gets all cleared up. I hope like honestly, I'm as much as I kind of like hate what Fabrizio Corona's doing, with like the whole like asking for money from companies and
At
stuff
the
like
same
that.
time, it kind of makes it right.
I mean, you can do that. Like it's horrible.
Yeah,
Imagine like a player on your team is like betting for your team to lose or
yeah.
like betting for a red card or an own goal and maybe like it's happened before and you always thought it was innocent, but now you're like, damn, like what if they actually are betting on it? What if they're like playing with my emotions to make
Yeah.
them money?
All these players are here playing honestly because they love the game. They want to have a great career. They want to go places in the world, and it's getting screwed up by some gambling addict. I mean,
It's
hopefully,
horrible.
hopefully, all this will take it in the right direction. These players will get help. Uh,
Yeah.
Other players will smarten up probably after they hear what happens, and hopefully it goes in
Yeah.
the right direction. You just mentioned how it can like screw up a game. What was that player on Juventus?
Gatti.
Oh, he was in on
The
it too.
one that Fagioli asked money from. Yeah. So and
So
Fabrizio
go into this. Go
Corona
into this.
Corona also said that Gatti is involved in this too. So
And
people are
what's the
saying,
evidence that we saw?
I mean, that's like clear as day evidence. It was Sassuolo versus Juventus. I'm pretty sure Juventus lost 4-2. I think it was.
They lost.
They lost badly. They got smashed that game. But, and I know this doesn't really contribute to the result that much because they were still losing by a lot. But Gatti, I think it was Sassuolo's third goal. He got a pass from the goalie. The goalie was on the edge of his box, like to the left of
Yeah,
the
like
box.
almost in line with the post.
Yeah, almost no, like farther, I
Oh
think.
yeah,
Way,
okay then.
way farther. He was like on the edge of his box.
Okay, it
And he passed it to Gatti,
was on like
and
the
then
right side across the box almost. Yeah,
yeah, like across the box. So like let's say the goalie's here, Gatti's at the top of the box, at the other end of the
and
box.
your face is the net.
He looks back and he just shoots it in the net while the goalie's still out of the net. Like it's not
Unless
even like
you're extremely untalented.
it's not even like he did a no look, like he wasn't paying attention. No, he was looking at the net that was open. How do you just and like he kicked it in with force, so it didn't slowly
It
roll
was a
in.
screamer.
It didn't even slowly roll in. Like it had some force on it.
Some heat on it.
He was making sure that the keeper wouldn't get back to
Imagine he like actually stopped it from going in.
gets
And he's like,
fingertips on it.
damn it. Well, yeah, that's another
Yeah.
like, that gets you thinking. Like we obviously mentioned the Tonali unnecessary yellows. That's another one. Like, how do you? I mean, obviously, like, okay, you never really know, but like it looked pretty weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows with that? I was gonna ask you. We talked about like let's hope this all clears up. Ooh, does it concern you about like Italian soccer? Like, does that concern you, or do you think it'll go away and it'll fix itself?
Well,
As an
as it
Italian,
is as sad as it is to say, like we've had our fair share of scandals over the years, and it sucks because like in Italy, there's in Italy, there's so many things that aren't right,
Like
especially when it comes to
mafias,
sports. Sorry,
like mafias and such.
mafia, politics, owners that are greedy, owners that are willing to do anything to get their way.
Napoli owner.
I'm not saying anything. Um, yeah, there's a lot of things that aren't right with it, and I think it's been dragging us down for so many years. Like that's the whole reason why like
You can tell
people
with
are
like
like,
not qualifying for these competitions and stuff like that.
yeah, and it affects our national team too. And then we do bad in these international tournaments and
And then you
yeah.
win the Euro, and then you're back to bad again.
But like
That's
even
maybe
with
that's
the
what can
league,
happen when everything is normal. Maybe that's what
even
can happen when everything is
yeah,
normal. It can
even
actually.
with the league itself, like it went downhill, then it
Refs
started
don't
going
look at
back up,
VAR,
huh?
right? Refs don't look at VAR. You always tell me.
And there's some refs involved in this too, but I'm not gonna talk too much about it because there wasn't like too many developments. But Fabrizio did say there's like two or three refs involved with the betting, which is horrible.
Yeah,
That's
Fabrizio
worse than the
Corona.
players. That's worse than the players.
Yeah, that is worse than the players. Yeah.
But anyway, as I was saying, there's a lot of things that like don't work in Italy.
Mhm.
And then when you add this into it, it just makes sense. Um,
Just a lot of unjust situations all over, pretty much.
People are just looking to make money, even though they got so much already.
Yeah,
And yeah, it doesn't look good on us. So I hope that like we can make the right move and like get rid of all the people that are doing it,
yeah.
punish them for what they're doing, bring them back if we can. If we can't, and like we can see that like they're insisting on it and like they're like, oh, I never did it, I never did it, even though we have evidence that they did, then I say just like get them, kick them out. Honestly, we don't need them there.
Better without him.
I don't care how good they are, like even if it's a big player, like why would you want that?
Yeah.
It only hurts your image. So yeah, it doesn't look good on us for sure, but I think we can still make the right moves and fix it before it gets out of hand.
Do you think they'll make, these upcoming Euros? Because I know they have like a couple big
They
games
gotta
and
they
stuff.
gotta beat Ukraine and North Macedonia again.
Oh, those guys are back in town, huh?
That
Do you,
should be
do
interesting.
you, do you feel confident, or do you think like all this stuff behind the scenes is just gonna like make it worse?
Well, it definitely hurts not having Tonali in that midfield
Yeah,
for however long he's gonna be out for. It's gonna affect the team.
yeah.
Um
Whoever else might be involved too, they're like a little paranoid maybe when they play.
yeah, especially if they got these gangs coming after them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it definitely will affect the team, but at the
Maybe
same
they rally.
at the
Maybe it's like,
same
you know
time,
what?
maybe that makes them stronger. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Never know.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. I feel like I was gonna ask you one more thing. Oh no, I was gonna have this to add. Like, it's not even just Italy. Like, you see it with Spain a lot. Like, we obviously heard like Barcelona literally like match fixing for like a decade or something, or longer than that.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just like a football thing. Like, it's such a big sport. There's bound to be corruption. There's bound to be like unjust individuals that have high power in the sport and in their leagues and whatever. Which kind of sucks because like there's a lot of young kids that watch this sport. A lot of people around the world love it. So it sucks to see like sometimes it's like the WWE at times with the script that's involved. So in the end,
Yeah.
we all want it to be, as balanced as it can be and as unbiased it can be. So hopefully this all resolves itself.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully it does. Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of leagues that I think are involved that just isn't coming out. Luckily, Italy had Fabrizio Corona, as good or wrong as he is.
Yeah.
He's brave enough to come out with this, and don't forget, this guy's probably getting death threats too from so many
Yeah,
big like
for
people
sure.
in the higher up
A
positions.
regular journalist already like gets death threats. Imagine this guy like all over the shop.
Yeah. So like Italy had him who was brave enough to come out. Maybe he's gonna inspire other people in other leagues to do it. Who knows what's gonna come
Yeah,
through, and who knows what big players could be doing this.
there
Um,
might be more stuff coming out. We'll see.
yeah.
We'll
So
be on that.
we'll keep you updated.
All right, lad, you want to move on from all this intense politics?
Let's start talking about some football, shall we?
So while we're on Italy, you can add about, Milan's weekend and their upcoming game. Anything on your mind?
Yeah, so Milan just had a big loss against Juve. Obviously the game didn't go as we wanted.
I heard
Uh,
they got a not fair red card. Is that true?
no, I think the red card was fair,
Oh,
but
okay,
the
okay,
officiating for the whole game wasn't.
okay.
Um, yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. I hate talking about the refs, but
More match fixing.
it just always happens. It's always the same thing. And I'm not just saying just with Milan, with everyone in general. It's horrible. So I'm not gonna get into the refing side of things.
You don't want any fines?
No, but I will say that yeah, it was a pretty boring game. Milan looked like they were the way better team in the first 40 minutes. We looked like we were getting closer and closer to a goal. Juve looked like they were pushed back into their own box for like the whole first half. And then in the 40th minute, the red card came out. I gotta admit, Tiao was really stupid for making that challenge. He was the last man back and he just held on to him. Honestly, at that point, I would have just let him go, see if
Yeah.
he would have scored. Like let Mirante come out, which by the way, we were playing with our third goalie, Mirante, not even Sportiello. Anyway, just details. Um, so yeah,
Gotta let him play sometime.
I would have let him
Why
go,
not for not why not let
and
him
you
play
know what?
third place?
He was brilliant this game. He
Yeah.
was really good. He made like three really clutch saves on Vlahovic, which could have made the game end even worse.
Good for him.
So I was surprised by him. He's 40 years old. He had
Oh.
cat like reflexes. Um, but yeah, not a good game to lose.
Mhm.
Obviously, no game is good to lose, but against a big rival like
Yeah.
Juventus, it's obviously not the best.
You
And
guys still hold your position though, right? Second place.
yeah, they're 1 point behind us now, so they're at yeah. Let me
You're third, right?
make sure. No, I'm saying like by points.
Oh,
Milan are second, so Juve third, Milan second, Inter first. They're all split by 1 point.
wow.
Um, here, let
It's
me
always
just
tight, isn't it?
yeah, it's always very tight till the end in SerieA, which is good to see.
Yeah. Okay, so I have the details. Third place Juventus with 20 points. Milan in second place with 21 points, and Inter in first with 22 points. So yeah, like you said, they're all like within 1 point of each other.
Yeah,
And they're all on the same amount of games played.
yeah. So that's my point. We're still pretty close, so
Mhm.
it's not the end of the world,
Nothing to
but
like cry about, but like you could have been first, kind of.
yeah, we could have been first because we had the 2 point advantage over Inter going into the game, so it would have been nice, but I mean it goes on. It gets a bit tougher. We had a lot of absent players, I must say.
Are you
Um,
resting players for your upcoming match, Pioli?
no, we just injuries.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We had Loftus Cheek, Chukwueze, we had Taylor Hernandez out on a suspension, we had Manyan out on a suspension. Um, who
That'll
else?
do it.
And then we had to remove Pulisic because after the red card, Pioli got rid of Pulisic and put in Kalulu as a
Yeah.
defender. So that kind of it just screwed up the game. And then yeah,
Yeah.
we were playing with our backs to
To the
to
wall.
to the wall. Yeah.
What
So
about your next match?
the next match will be against sorry in Serie A.
No, no, Champions League.
Oh, Champions League. So
Donnarumma Classico.
yeah, we got the big game that Milan fans have been waiting for ever since Donnarumma left.
Are you guys at home?
No, we're away.
Okay. Okay. You'll get him in a reverse fixture.
Um, I'm looking forward to seeing how we compete against a top class team. Even
Mhm.
though PSG haven't been in the best form, they still got, one of the best players in the world on their team. So it's gonna be interesting to see how we can cope with that. No, not Donnarumma. They got Mbappe, so I'm really interested to see how we can cope with him.
Who's going to be marking him? Calabria.
Calabria. That should be interesting.
Think he can do it? You think he can get the
I
job
like Calabria, don't get me wrong, but I mean that's a whole different beast.
done? Yeah.
That he's probably never played against. Theo Hernandez actually did an interview when he was on international break, and he said he told Calabria how to defend against him. And he
Nice.
said the only way is to just foul him.
Racking
So
up.
Calabria red card incoming.
Get Kalulu ready to come on at half.
Don't even start Pulisic.
It'll
Yeah,
be a good game though.
it should be a good game. I'm really interested to watch it. I think they're both very attacking teams, so we're gonna see like a very back and forth open game, definitely end to end. Um,
Just like that whole group, pretty much.
yeah, yeah.
That whole group is end-to-end action.
But I'm hoping we get our first win, because we've come from two ties. So yeah, we definitely need a win if we
Mhm.
want to progress in the Champions League.
Well,
And yeah,
this episode comes out on Wednesday morning, which means there is a few games today. There's not many big heavyweights going at it. But yeah,
mhm.
the PSG Milan game. There's also Newcastle, Dortmund. Other than that, it's pretty, pretty light.
Yeah,
But yeah, don't forget to catch that. What else do we have here on the agenda? Oh, wow. Other news in the SerieA. We'll keep it rolling. Other news in the SerieA. We got Mourinho. You like to talk about that?
yeah. Mourinho, he's a character,
The special one.
the special one.
So
So
he
yeah,
was taunting the who they play Monza,
yeah.
taunting their bench before the goal, right? Before they ended up scoring, or
I think it was before the goal. I don't know, but the point is he was taunting their bench, telling them to be quiet, telling them that they were
respect,
crying.
respect.
He was saying that they were crying and they were babies, and then they ended up winning the game, and he ended up getting a red card when
Yeah.
he was doing the gestures. So, I mean, it's a reoccurring thing for anybody who watches Serie A. You
Yeah.
know that like every other game he gets a red card, and I'm not even exaggerating. Like I'm not even exaggerating. I think he hasn't gone 5 games without a red. Uh,
What a character.
insane. It's insane. It's almost as bad as Antonio Conte.
I'll tell you what, there is this reoccurring theme with passionate Portuguese men where sometimes they lose their marbles. And that's just one of them. Even the Porto coach sometimes, Conceição, he'll probably average like 3 reds a season, maybe. So it's to be expected with these guys.
Yeah,
But gotta love the passion, but sometimes it's a little overboard for the refs.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I don't know. I have nothing much to add about it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't
Just wanted
I
just wanted to throw that out there.
I don't think he should be acting like that much, especially because they got Inter next and he's gonna be missing
Hmm.
that game. So even though I don't really think managers missing games has as big of an effect that people think.
What do you miss? Like the team talk before the game?
Yeah.
And
Even
don't they
though
have this? Don't they like talk to the assistant like the whole game?
yeah, they're still there making the decisions. I don't People make a big deal about it, like, oh my God, now he's gonna be missing the game. Like it doesn't make a big difference.
It's like the assistant's gonna have a big job at that club. No?
Yeah,
Basically
yeah,
head coach.
yeah.
What else do
So
we got? We got
so
some Premier League stuff. Oh yeah, you want to say something?
sorry, I just wanted to add a bit more about Serie A this
Yep.
weekend. Just a little preview to this weekend. Two big games. We got Inter Roma and we got Milan Napoli this weekend.
Oh, so
So
that's big.
should be
That's a
very nice.
29.
Sorry?
That's 29.
Yeah.
I know the 29th is like A lot of big games on his way.
Yeah, yeah.
Derbies, big matches, left, right, and center.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see that because I mean that's a huge weekend. We got Milan, Napoli, Inter all playing and they're all involved in the top four finishes for the league this year. I don't know who Juve is playing, but I don't think it's a big team. Yeah, so that I think that covers everything for the SerieA
Big, lots of talk about them.
and the
Uh,
Champions League.
just a couple other updates with what's been going on in the last week. Spurs are now top of the league. That's some groundbreaking stuff. They're looking pretty good without Kane and their new
Yeah,
manager.
I'm actually very impressed by Spurs
Yeah,
this year.
Son and Madison are just running the show.
Yeah,
You like,
Madison looks so good,
yeah,
doesn't
he's
he?
such a good player.
He's so class. I think that's like a player that everyone would want on their team.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we'll get a Spurs fan one of these days to like see what's going on if this success continues. Because obviously, it's like it's not just any team leading the league; it's like Spurs.
All
So
right, I'm gonna say it right now, Spurs fans. If you want to see one of your own coming on here, I want 10 likes on this video. Give me those 10 likes, and our next episode will be, or maybe next future
sometime in the
episode
future, yeah, sometime.
will be with a Spurs fan giving his opinion on the team.
Yeah.
10
Uh,
likes, everyone. 10.
yeah. There you go. Also, just to bring my club into it, Chelsea are unbeaten in their last 4 games. No big deal. Uh,
Looking good, looking good.
we had 3 wins in a row, including the League Cup, I mean, and then two league games after that, and then we tied to Arsenal, which is kind of heartbreaking because we were leading 2-0, and we
I
looked really
actually
good. We
I
were
had a
up one
bet.
at some point.
I had a bet on Arsenal to win that game, so I was hoping they would come back.
But no, we actually looked pretty good. I don't know what's been going on. Maybe it's Pochettino where he's like got more time with this group. They're getting better and better. Looks good. I'm pleased with what I see. Drawing to Arsenal is pretty good considering they're like title contenders this year. So we'll take that. Mudryk, 2 goals now in the season. It was probably a cross, but that doesn't matter. It went in. Uh, so yeah.
I didn't see the goal.
No, if you see it, you'll laugh. Uh, but yeah, nonetheless, Chelsea are looking up. Other random updates in the world of footy. Ajax are not dead last, but they're like in relegation in the Eredivisie. Nico, that's something we've never seen before.
That's insane to me. Ajax used to be so big. They used to be in the semifinals of the Champions League.
Yeah,
What happened?
they're
It's
usually
like
staples to
Atalanta, but
win.
even Atalanta didn't go that low.
They're usually staples to win the Eredivisie. Um, they compete with other teams like maybe like Feyenoord and whatever, but they're usually a staple for Champions League. I mean, they're in the Champions League, so like we'll see what they can do in that competition.
Yeah.
Is there a rule like okay, so let's say Ajax go to Europa League, like they finish third in their group, and in this season they get relegated, let's just say, okay? If they win the Europa League, but they're relegated from their league, what happens? They play second division, but they're in the Champions League?
I actually have no idea. That's a really good question.
Could you imagine? Like, what would happen? Like, is that allowed? Like, I
I
don't.
guess.
Maybe there's a rule that we don't know about because it never happened before, but that would be something.
And then they keep like because if you yeah. So they would go to the
Right?
Champions League the next year, and then they would go back to the Europa League. They would win it, and then they would. So their only way to get to the Europa League is to win it.
Yeah. No, no, to get in the Champions League to win the
Yeah, but no, but then they drop back down to the Europa League every year.
true, true. Um, oh yeah, that's right. They like have to consistently go down. Um, could you imagine you got Real Madrid away, and then later on the weekend you got some like second tier Dutch team with like not even full stands, just like 2 sides of the stadium has stands like from that to that.
It's
Unreal.
hilarious.
So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that because that's a little alarming. And not as alarming as this, Leon are last in their league in League One.
Yeah,
Don't know
yeah.
what's going on there. I know they had you know how those players like after the game they go talk with the fans, the supporters section. I know Milan had that not too long ago.
Mhm.
They had that earlier in the season. It's an ugly sight. They don't have a win. So keep your eye out on that. And other than that, Nico, I got nothing else to add.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. So yeah, we just wanted to do a little overview of everything that's been going on, mainly the scandal stuff because it's the biggest news, but yeah, I think we covered everything. So I just wanted to say before we end it off, just to look out for our next episode. It's gonna be huge, guys. It's
We
gonna
got
be
a
huge.
big interview lined up for you guys. We don't know
This
when
is
it'll be coming out. Maybe in a week or just over that.
yeah.
We'll see, but regardless, it should be happening, and we got it.
Maybe let's say by next Monday or sometime around that day. We'll see. We'll keep
We'll
you
see.
updated. We'll probably do a post on our socials about it, kind of like previewing it.
Yeah, leading up to it. Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's huge. We're not gonna say who it's with. Gonna keep that a surprise. I just want to say it's gonna be the best interview we've ever done,
yeah.
best podcast episode we've ever done. Definitely the biggest person we've
Biggest
ever
guest.
interviewed.
Yeah. Sorry, Elijah.
Yeah, sorry.
But
Move
no, it
out of
should
the
be good.
way. We got bigger things here.
It should be good though. Should
No,
be
but guys, trust me, it's huge.
yeah.
It's gonna be very worth watching.
We'll start
Um,
with that.
but yeah, other than that, just look out for that. And thanks for the support on the episodes. Like we said at the start, we're trying to get back into it. It's really hard with school and everything, but
We
we're
do
doing
what we
as
can.
best as we can. Please just like continue to support us on Instagram too, because we put a lot of effort into our posts. We make everything ourselves. So yeah, just keep the support coming for that. And other than that, I think that pretty much sums everything up for today.
That wraps it up for episode 12. All
Yeah, thank you
right.
guys for watching. Keep watching if you can, if you like what we're doing. And yeah, just thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.